Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. It's Juneteenth. It's a holiday for me. So chilling at home. And today I want to talk about hobbies. I want to talk about specifically how I've approached hobbies my whole life and how I'm currently approaching hobbies. Yesterday I told you I've been playing bass guitar for a while now. I don't know, almost 2 months, something like that. It's been a bit. This happened because Malia and I had the discussion about playing, and I told her that I didn't want, I didn't have time to learn an instrument. And she said, who cares? Her response was, you want to play music, buy an instrument. If you only pick it up for 20 minutes a week, who cares? It's there, fiddle with it, play with it, put it back. Who knows? Whatever. And I kind of thought about that for a while because I've been doing something else with my other hobbies that we talked about a few months ago. I asked the question of, was I reading too fast? I wasn't retaining books the way that I thought I should, and I thought maybe it was a product of reading too fast. So, over the last, I don't know however long that's been, at least 3 months, maybe 4 months, I've been actively trying to slow down. I've been actively trying to not get super absorbed in things. In fact, when I bought this, I brought it home. I had it in the living room. My kids didn't know I bought it. They weren't here that week. They came the following week, and my youngest said, is that your new hyperfixation? Which, it kind of stung a little bit, but also, she's not wrong, right? Everything I've ever done, I've hyperfixated on. I go at it 1,000%. That's what I do. And so for the last 4 or 5 months, 3, 4 months, however long it's been since we had this discussion about me going too fast, I've decided let's try to do things differently. Let's see what happens if I don't give 1,000% to everything. What if I just take it as just leisurely pace? And so I've been reading at a leisurely pace. I think that you noticed, in January I was reading 4 books a week. Now I'm reading maybe 1 a week, maybe 1 every 2 weeks. Some of them have gone slow. I'm not finding myself sitting down and just plowing through books because, oh my god, I have to finish this right now. Video games. I hadn't played a video game in almost a year. I think that Tears of the Kingdom last year, so this time last year, was the last time, literally the last time I'd played a video game until playing Red Dead Redemption 2 over the last couple of months. And when I say over the last couple of months, I mean that. We came back from Colorado. I think I started this the following week. So it took me 2 months to play this game. Prior me, I would have finished it in a week. I would have plowed through it. I would have done literally nothing else but sit down and play this game, and I'd have got it done. But I decided to not do that. Let's see what happens if I slow it down. Let's see if I enjoy it anymore. With this thing, for one, it's kind of hard to sit down and learn a bass guitar in a month. I don't think you could really do that. You could pick this up. I could give this to you, and you know nothing about music, and I could teach you how to play some songs, and we could almost immediately play something. But to be able to play this proficiently and understand what you're playing and be able to pick up some tab or some sheet music and play a song, that's a very, very, very different thing that I think you have to spend time doing. But I'm not spending hours a day. I'm not, closing my work laptop and picking this up and playing for hours. What's happening is it's sitting in the corner. I pick it up on break. I play for 5 minutes. I play some scales, whatever. I do my lesson. That's about it. An hour a day, maybe 2 hours on a weekend at most. But I'm not fixating on it. I'm not, reading books about bass playing and watching all the bass playing videos. I'm just enjoying the adventure of playing this instrument as I have a chance to do it. And it's been really rewarding. All 3 of these things. These have been my 3 hobbies since January. This is it. Books were almost 3 months. When my back was really bad and I couldn't do anything else, I just read. I was doing literally nothing else. And I tell you what, slowing it down, letting it breathe a little more, has been really rewarding. And what I have learned, especially playing an instrument like this, is that if I try to power through, like I'm learning a difficult song. What was the song that I had to learn for this course? Billie Jean. Ridiculously complex for a beginner bass line. It's like 3 strings, a whole bunch of finger movement. Like it's a fast song, very, very hard to learn. And I tried it and was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do this, you know. And so I put some time in. I played it a few times, and then I just didn't. I just stopped. Before I got frustrated, before I got irritated, I just put it down and didn't play it for a while. Kept doing other lessons, and then like a few days later, I came back. Hold on. Things are working. Put it down. Pick it up a few days later. Oh, I think I can play this. Very, very slowly, but I can play this. And I found that taking those breaks, I might, playing a scale on this thing is difficult unless you have gigantic hands like I do. And it was difficult even for me as an ex-piano player in the beginning. I didn't have that kind of stretch. What I found was I would learn a thing, whether it's a major scale or maybe it's a pentatonic or something like that. And I would just go, okay, that's enough. And then I'd wake up the next day and I could just do it. Whereas I was struggling the day before, I could just do it. And so what I've found is slowing down on all of these things has, in many ways, increased my enjoyment. And I think that the more interesting part of it is the not talking about it, right? I've not talked about any of these things. I've told you that I was playing Red Dead. We haven't talked about it. I'm not talking about all the books I'm reading. I didn't talk about this for over a month, almost 2 months. I've been playing this. I didn't talk about it at all. Because in the before 4 times, last year, before last probably November, when I basically stopped using social media other than this, for me, I think the talking about it was the more interesting part of these hobbies. It was, I want to do this thing so I can talk about it. And so, when a video game comes out that I want to play, I want to finish it immediately so I can talk about it. I want to finish a book as quickly as I can so I can talk about it. But not having the talking about it on the agenda, taking that off of the agenda and just enjoying my time with a hobby has been a very different and a very rewarding experience. I'm very happy that I've chose this experiment. And I can tell you that part of my concern when I bought this thing was that I would play it for a couple weeks and then it would get too hard, or it would, I'd just lose interest. That's not been the case at all. When it gets hard, I just set it down. Like, I don't care. But I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. I did kind of game myself when I bought this. I intentionally bought a non-starter bass. Like, this is a starter bass if you're a professional musician. This is a $500 instrument as opposed to, a Fender Player series. It's $1,000 or more for a US built Fender guitar. So this is still in a professional mind beginner's guitar. But there are $120 guitars. The Squier base model is $220. We talked about that yesterday. So there are cheaper options that play fine. You could look up, if you're interested, look up Harley Benton. Harley Benton makes guitars and basses for like $100, $120, and everybody says they're fantastic. Like, the hardware is kind of cheap, but they play great. The necks are great. The bodies are great. They play very well. I could have done that, and just been, there's my $100 guitar. I'll pick it up every now and then. But instead, I chose to spend the money on an instrument that inspires me. The look of this thing inspires me. I want to touch it and feel it and play it. I put enough money into it that I feel guilty about it. And then I purchased a $200 course so that I would feel guilty about that. Instead of stumbling my way through some YouTube tutorials that, or just pick and choose your own, I chose to purchase a course. So I chose to spend like $700 on this hobby right up front so that I would I kind of guilt myself into it. Like, you have to do this because you spent all this money. Like, I can't just let that money go to waste. And what I have found is that hasn't been a factor at all. I have not had to say, okay, let's play. Every day, I'm like, let's do this. Like, let's see what today's lesson's about. And I've been going through lessons that were like, for a person who doesn't know what an instrument is, for a person who's never seen a quarter note on a staff. Like, I've gone through these lessons without being upset about it, without being like, can I just skip this? I've sat through it and been like, cool, let's go. Let's just do this. And it's felt very, it's felt good. It's felt very good. Plus, I have an instrument that I could play for many, 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 many years, and it's never going to let me down because it is a quality instrument as opposed to buying the inexpensive stuff. So I think Chris will be happy about that. But this slowing down thing, I think I'm going to keep doing it. And I honestly think that it was the telling people about it that was fueling the fire, that was making me feel like I had to go fast because I need to talk about it before I lose interest, right? Instead, just slowing down and not letting myself lose interest because I'm not getting frustrated, I'm not getting overwhelmed, I'm just doing things at my own pace. That has been, it's been great. It's been very, very good. It's been a lesson I wish I had learned 20 years ago. But here we are. It's fine. Red Dead Redemption 2, fantastic game. Current book I'm reading, Winter Kill, book 3 of the Joe Pickett series by C.J. Box. It's okay. We'll talk about it eventually. Song I'm playing right now, what's it called? Better Than Ezra song. Down? Something like that. That's my current song. What's going on in your life? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know sounds smart is wanton. It is an adjective meaning loose, lascivious, and lewd. Robert is so wanton that women stay away from him in spite of his family's connections. Wanton. W-A-N-T-O-N. I didn't know that it had anything to do with ludidity or being... I always thought wanton was just like carefree, like, or like wanton destruction. That doesn't necessarily mean sexual destruction, right? Like, that's just...